Hello, it's Edukator Milenial. How's life? Hopefully everything's gonna be okay for us. In this video, we're gonna talk about university students' experience and hope toward online learning in this segment, ORASI, the 12 ORASI. As a matter of fact, to know deeply about something, it would be better to jump into another perspectives. And these days, we're still struggling in online learning or virtual learning instead of going directly to school or to campus or experiencing real university life. Yeah, it'll be interesting to know students' perspectives or point of views about it. And I'm so glad that two nice university students come here to join and share their perspectives, their experience, and their hope to us. Yeah, without further ado, let's come to the screen, Marshall and Ade. Please let me know about you because no love before meeting.
Hello, thank you Nurul for having me in this conversation. So my name is Marshall and I'm currently studying in Brawijaya University as a third semester student, majoring in Agroindustrial technology. And for my current activities is I just doing the online learning just like usual, and there is not much I do except waking up, facing my laptop, and then go to bed again.
Hello, my name is Ade Mulyani. I'm a fourth semester student at the University Nahdlatul Ulama, Indonesia. I'm also an employee in a company located in Jakarta.
Thank you, Marshall and Ade. So, how's your school during this online learning?
Yeah, so I entered the university in 2020, which means it was the time when COVID-19 pandemic began. And after almost 2 years of online learning, to be honest, I couldn't feel anything about college life. Because my first expectation was I can meet new people, I can meet new friends, I can live in another city far from home. But yeah, the reality just kicked all of my expectations. And frankly, I still wondering how is it felt to be as a university student, because all this time I just felt like a student that only taking online course, meeting new people that I can't even get to know them better by seeing each other in person. And to be honest, I felt so lonely. Even though I join organizations where I can meet new people, but still, what can I expect from an online meeting? Though we do chit chat and trying to get to know each other better, but still, I can't really know who they really are. But for me, there are also some positive sides from an online learning, which I can manage my time better. Whether I'm willing to join 2 organizations at once or joining committee at the campus, I can still manage my time very well because I don't have to go to the class or to the campus. And if I have a committee, I just have the meeting via Zoom or Google Meet. So this really saves my time. So I can do another thing besides from my college activity.
When talking about online learning, of course there are obstacles or challenge, advance and disadvantage. For challenge is when I have to get out of comfort zone. Of course, in undergoing this online learning, why I do say that? Because me, I always feel, this is just learning online really. In fact, what I get when studying offline is much different. Talking about obstacles, of course, the internet network, because that really make me feel annoyed when online learning was taking place because the network was always disconnected by change, and that I was in the area, in the village. For advance is that I feel comfortable in terms of time. Well, this online learning, I don't feel pressured for time, like going to and from college because I happen to be a worker.
Yeah, we know everything has plus and minus, and during this online learning, there are obstacles and challenges, of course. But it depends how we perceive it. you want to stop or you want to fight it back. But one thing that I want to start is don't put high expectation on something if you don't want to be disappointed. We know that man proposed, God disposed, so face the fact quietly. By the way, have you ever heard about Lostgeneration caused by this pandemic situation? What's your standpoint about it?
Lostgeneration. As I know, this term is used for the generation who got confused and disoriented after the First World War. And apparently, this term is also used for those who got confused and disoriented because of this pandemic situation. Especially the generation that are still in an early age, that are still being students in this year. Because this is also related to Indonesia Emas 2045, where we hoping in that year, in 2045, we will have the best quality of human resource in Indonesia. But due to this pandemic, the generation that we need to prepare I get distracted because in 2045, the productive age of the people will be fulfilled by those who are still in an early age, by those who are still being a students in this year. For example, a 5-year-old boy, soon in 2045 he will be 29 years old, and he will play the big role for this country, rather than me. I'm an old man 2045. So this little kids is the one that we need to prepare for Indonesia Emas 2045. But I'm pretty sure that the preparation will be hampered because there is something that these little kids will miss. That is the skill of interaction, the skill of social skill. Like how they can interact with the teachers, how can they interact with friends within the same age. But how come they can interact each other if they can't even go to school? And even they can still meet via online platform like Zoom or Google Meet, they still can't really interact each other with that online platform. And I'm pretty sure that this will really affect the students in a really bad way, whether it's their mental health or the quality of the students itself.
Talking about lost generation that seems like horrible things, it is able to be tackled by online learning. Apparently, it'll be worse if the education stopped totally during this pandemic era. So, online learning is one of the best way out to figure it out. And hopefully, Golden Indonesia 2045 or Indonesia Emas 2045 will become true. We hope so. I'm wondering about how do you see education in this virtual era or in this online learning style? Or perhaps you're able to share your hopes too as well.
About the education in this pandemic era, we cannot deny that the most effective way to learn is an offline learning. I see the education in this pandemic era is really ineffective. The teachers still want to teach in online learning like the way they used to teach in an offline learning. They still teach us like showing the PPT that full of words and they just reciting it. And sometimes they just give us the PDF and taught us to read them by ourselves. And how we can understand the material? And I also would like to mention there's a gap between the students who came from a wealthy family and the students who came from a poor family. The students that came from a wealthy family, they don't have any problem with the facilities they need to do the online learning. But students that came from a poor family, some of them don't have the money to afford a smartphone or the laptop to do the online learning. And how come they can learn? Most of the students that can afford the smartphone, they choose to drop out from school because they don't have a change to learn in an online learning. And I'm hoping that we can do the offline learning again. Maybe we can have a solution like dividing the amount of the students to go to school so there will be no crowding problem in the school. But if we really need to do this online learning, I'm hoping that we can maximize it to be more effective. Like the teachers have to interact more with the students, like making a discussion group so the students will be more engaged to learn so they can really absorb knowledge. And I'm also hoping that the government can provide the poor students a smartphone to do the online learning. So there will be no more students that drop out from school because they can't afford a smartphone.
Education in general during this pandemic for parents who share the responsibility assisting their children to learn from home. I'm sure that parents now admit that explaining various subjects and accompanying children with schoolwork is not as easy as imagined. The hard work of the teachers and lecturers so far deserve application. Almost no one thing phase of education to change drastically due to COVID-19 pandemic. And my hope is that teachers and lecturers always maximize the obligation, and I, the student, hope to be able to understand will these kinds of education even taught online learning.
Wow, there are a lot of things that you share with us in this ORASI. I'm so glad to have you both here to share. But before closing these segments, I please you to give closing statements or motivation to us who experienced the same with you. The screen is yours, Marshall and Ade.
Okay, I may say to my friends and all of you who watching this pandemic is something that is out of our control and it is really uncertain. So the only thing that we can control is ourselves. Keep in our mind, we need to keep going through. We have to keep our spirit and stay sane. I understand that we're already tired of hoping that the pandemic would end, but yeah, what can we do except of hoping? Perhaps find something interesting for you to fill your spare time. If you like to read books, read books. If you like to sing, just sing. Do anything to make you feel more relaxed and less stressed. Because the most important thing to keep in this situation is our mental health. And I would like to thank you, Nurul, for having me in this conversation and giving me room for telling my opinion or precisely my complaint to the online learning. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, this pandemic may make us feel lost, but that doesn't mean we have to stop halfway. Likewise, with light that doesn't. That is, we must continue to help with the future. Online or offline learning will not be obstacle for people who are always thirsty for knowledge.
Thanks a million, Ade and Marshall. Keep fighting for your futures and don't be easily to be helpless. Be wise in every condition and situation by perceiving something in positive ways. Yeah, we know it's a normal things to be in a low motivated condition sometimes. But don't let it too long. Don't make many excuses because the one who knows best about you is you. So just do something that can kick off your stress, your burnout, your mental illness, by your passion, your hobby, or do some interesting things. And after that, you have to fight stronger. Hopefully everything gonna be okay and more conducive and happier soon. Thank you. Thanks for always supporting this channel and hopefully it'll be useful for us. And see ya.